Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our sources are taking us right into, well, the devastating final moments of a huge narrative arc. We're talking about a story just built on loyalty, rivalry, and of course, a lot of wealth.
A whole lot of wealth.
And our mission for this deep dive is to really cut through the melodrama and pinpoint the structural vulnerabilities that let the antagonist build this perfect, inescapable trap for our main character, 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐿.
And that trap, as you see in the sources, it really hinges on two crises, two romantic crises that are happening at the same time. On one side, you've got Karan and 𝐊𝐿. Their conflict is almost entirely external. They're fighting against 𝐊𝐔𝐌𝐻 and Seema.
Right.
But then on the other side, you have Farah and Layla, and their battle is all internal. It's about jealousy, manipulation, and just this complete lack of trust.
Exactly. And the central quote that defines this whole climax, the synopsis frames it so well, is, "When love is surrounded, which promise do we keep?" We're looking at what happens when the promise of love clashes with the promise of safety. Let's start with the A-plot, Karan and 𝐊𝐿.
Okay, so what's immediately clear is that Karan is he's really trying, to shift their dynamic from, a secret affair to a legitimate partnership. The sources use that great phrase. He's trying to cut ties with his past life. Exactly, to fully commit to 𝐊𝐿. And you see these small but really powerful signs like planning trips to Cappadocia, demanding private time with her.
He's trying to make their relationship normal in a place, the family mansion, that is actively and aggressively trying to push her out.
And the opposition sees this. They see this normalization as the ultimate threat. His mother, 𝐊𝐿𝐻, and his estranged wife, Seema, they are just united in this fury. It's not simple dislike. They see 𝐊𝐿 as like an existential poison.
It's so personal.
It is. They keep calling her a snake or a sorceress who's bewitched Karan. They're basically saying he's not acting of his own free will, that he's under some kind of dark spell. And this, in their minds, justifies whatever extreme steps they take later.
And Karan just forces the issue. He picks the most public, most sacred space he can to make his point, the family breakfast table.
It's such a brilliant tactical move by him because that breakfast table is the heart of the home. It's where status is, handed out in this family. So by demanding 𝐊𝐿 join them, he's not asking for permission.
No, he's issuing a decree.
Exactly. And the fallout is immediate. This public declaration is precisely what triggers Seema's. Well, her dramatic collapse. She's completely distraught, seeing it as this profound public betrayal.
That's her breaking point.
It is. Whether it's entirely genuine or a little bit of a performance is almost beside the point. The result is she declares she can't tolerate 𝐊𝐿 being treated as family anymore. And that single moment, Karan publicly choosing 𝐊𝐿, is the line that forces Seema to stop fighting these little domestic battles and escalate.
And escalate she does to full-blown criminal conspiracy.
Right. But we have to pause on the parallel story for a second because it's such a vital contrast. Layla and Ferret's story isn't about outside forces. It's about a relationship just eroding from the inside out.
Yeah, and this is where it gets so messy. Layla's whole world is being poisoned by 𝐊𝐿, who is just consumed by jealousy. 𝐊𝐿 had already locked Layla in the storage room, the 𝐊𝐔𝐌𝐻, and now she's twisting the story around that whole incident.
And Ferret is stuck in the middle. He even admits to Layla that 𝐊𝐿 was wrong, and he confesses he's only being nice to her for his aunt's sake.
Which is such a cop-out. He's outsourcing his moral responsibility.
Exactly. That excuse, for his aunt's sake, it's so toxic because it shows he knows the truth, but he just doesn't have the courage to act on it. And this is the critical failure for their future. He still can't bring himself to trust Layla over 𝐊𝐿's manipulative tears. He suggests Layla's exaggerating because she's the one who's jealous.
He flips it on her. It's just a complete lack of basic faith. And then 𝐊𝐿 pushes it. She verbally attacks Layla, calling her and her sister daughters of a thief.
And Ferret has to physically step in to stop Layla's reaction. This gives 𝐊𝐿's aunt all the ammunition she needs. She immediately uses 𝐊𝐿's supposed vulnerability to push Ferret toward a quick engagement, to get Layla out of the picture for good.
It's heartbreaking for Layla. She realizes that if the man she loves doesn't trust her word over her rivals, then the relationship is just fundamentally broken. It can't last.
So while Karan and 𝐊𝐿 are fighting for the right to love openly, Ferret and Layla are discovering that love is totally meaningless without conviction.
And speaking of things being meaningless without something else, there's a quick side plot about wealth. Mustafa.
Right. So the sources mention that Mustafa, after he fails to get forgiveness from Gunka, he decides his story in this house has ended. He literally packs his bags to leave.
And Gunka immediately regrets not stopping him.
But it's interesting, right? It's not about romance. It's about lost access. She realizes they have unfinished business, which is a very strong hint about the hidden gold he knows about.
It's a great little thematic echo. While the main couples are dealing with these huge emotional stakes, the secondary characters show that even betrayal and leaving, it's often about money.
And that focus on wealth and the desire to control an heir brings us right back to the main conflict with Ceylan, because things are about to get much, much bigger.
And much more urgent.
The game changes completely with the discovery of the pregnancy. Ceylan starts feeling all the classic symptoms. She's tired, sleepy, nauseous. And her sister Aisha, she suspects it right away. She has this great line.
I know from the women in our village, when they get pregnant, they are like you.
Yes. So Aisha secretly gets a test kit. And there it is, 2 lines. Ceylan is just overjoyed. She thinks this child is the ultimate bond, the thing that will finally give her and Karan that happy ending.
But that joy doesn't last long.
Not at all, because 𝐀𝐁𝐻 and Seema find out, and for them, this isn't a blessing. It's the ultimate threat to their lineage, their power. A child legitimizes Ceylan forever.
So 𝐀𝐁𝐻 makes the first move. She offers this astonishingly cold ultimatum.
It's so calculated. She confronts Ceylan and offers her a package deal, a house, money for life. But the condition is total separation. Ceylan has to leave immediately, live alone, and keep the child's existence a complete secret from Karan.
And the really twisted part, the end game, is that 𝐀𝐁𝐻 plans to come and take the child later, to raise it as her own grandchild under the family name, and basically erase Ceylan as the mother.
And she frames this act of incredible cruelty as an act of mercy. She tells Ceylan her life isn't safe in the house, especially with Seema around, reminding her that Seema once tried to make her take abortion pills. It's a chilling threat disguised as a deal.
Hand over your child and I'll protect you from my other family members.
But Ceylan refuses. She insists she's safe with Karan, rejects the money, and refuses to give up her child. And that rejection tells the antagonist that, soft power isn't going to work. They have to escalate.
Which brings us to the shocking climax. Seema realizes her mother-in-law was too sentimental in trying to keep the baby. Seema just wants Ceylan gone. Full stop.
So she connects with Amir, and they come up with a plan that moves this from a family drama straight into criminal extortion.
They decide to use a common vulnerability, a charge of tax evasion. Tax 𝐊𝐷𝐷𝐿. It's the perfect choice. It's legally serious, it involves Karan's company, and it has an immediate, verifiable consequence.
And Seema has access to the documents. All she has to do is change a few small things to make the charge stick. Their goal is surgical. It's not just about imprisoning Karan.
No, it's about pressuring Ceylan to leave.
And it works instantly. Karan's colleague, Jan, runs to Ceylan with the news. Karan has been detained by the police at his company. Communication is cut. Ceylan's entire world just collapses in minutes.
And this is the moment Seema has been waiting for.
Yeah.
Ceylan at her absolute most vulnerable.
Seema confronts her immediately. She confirms Karan is being held, that he's facing years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And the leverage is that Seema has the original documents that can prove his innocence.
Of course she does. And here comes the final unbearable choice. She weaponizes the one thing Ceylan refused to give up before the pregnancy. What are the conditions?
They are absolute. Ceylan must leave the mansion immediately and silently. And crucially, she cannot tell Karan about the baby. If she tells Karan, Seema vows to use all her power to make sure he stays in prison forever.
Yeah.
And she personally promises to ensure the death of Ceylan's unborn child. She has created a complete no-win scenario.
That is it's so cold, it's so calculated. It moves from rivalry into outright criminal blackmail and the threat of murder.
Seema knew that money wasn't enough to separate Ceylan from Karan or the baby, so she had to make Ceylan choose between 2 different lives, Karan's freedom or her future family.
It ties everything together perfectly. Ceylan is trapped. If she stays and fights, she risks Karan's freedom and the life of her child because of Seema's direct threat.
But if she leaves, she saves Karan from prison, but loses him forever. And she actually validates 𝐀𝐁𝐻's original plan to separate her from the child anyway. That question of which promise to keep has reached its absolute peak.
So looking ahead, we have to predict the immediate fallout. I mean, given the speed of the arrest and the absolute nature of the threat, all the momentum points to Ceylan making the ultimate sacrifice.
Right. Path 1, the most likely path, is that she sacrifices herself. She disappears, keeps the baby a secret to protect Karan, which, sets up a huge emotional return story later on.
And path 2?
Path 2 is that she tries to fight to somehow expose Seema's plot. But with the documents locked away, that would just lead to immediate, probably violent danger for her and the baby inside that mansion. Disappearing seems almost unavoidable if she wants to guarantee his freedom.
It's the ultimate test. Prove your love by walking away and condemning yourself to a life alone.
Absolutely. And as we finish this deep dive, it raises a really fundamental question about the family's power. This whole blackmail scheme, it hinges on a tax evasion charge. This isn't a romantic problem anymore. It's a cold, hard legal vulnerability. 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓's choice isn't dictated by passion, but by law.
So you're left wondering, given the sheer ruthlessness of everyone involved, is 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔's forced departure a true self-sacrifice, or is it just the final inevitable proof of the family's power structure that she was fighting all along? That's definitely something to mull over until our next deep dive.